then leave home at 6. It will just mean waking up a little earlier and leaving home a little earlier. And a difference of a few minutes can make a whole difference. That way, you have no control over traffic because traffic is out there, but you have control over that. You can avoid that traffic just by taking charge of that, of your environment. Or taking a different route. If you know, if I pass through a certain route, I am bound to encounter traffic. Then you can use probably a longer route, but it will help you avoid that particular stressor. The other point is, or the other one of the other things you can do to avoid stress is avoid topics that really stress you. There are some topics that, you know, if I find people discussing this, or if someone brings up this topic, somehow I will just get stressed by the end of it. And you have to identify those topics. It may be, you don't, maybe whatever it is, it's maybe politics, it may be an issue that is going on around in your community or in the country, and it kind of just stresses you. You can avoid that topic. So avoid topics that are bound to cause you stress. Now, the other one is just looking at your to-do list, some of the tasks that you set yourself to do on a certain day. If you find that by the end of the day you're very stressed by what you had set out to do and you're not able to do, it just may mean that you're having too much on your plate. So you just need to pare down your list of the to-do tasks that you had set out to do. So those are some of the things that you can do. So avoiding topics that cause you stress, avoiding people who cause you stress, or minimizing interactions with them, taking charge of your environment, reducing or managing your to-do list, avoiding, what was the other one we said? Avoiding, learning how to say no, learning how to say no. So those are some of the things you can do to actually avoid stress. But we have also said that there are times you may not be able to avoid stress. And if you're not able to avoid stress, then you can alter the situation. You can alter the situation. Altering the situation means there are some certain things you can do that you can actually either minimize or the occurrence, or eliminate or at least minimize the level of stress that incident causes. One of the things you can do is to express your feelings. Sometimes people are stressed simply because they're not able, or they're not willing, or they find it hard to express themselves. Communicate your feelings or your concerns to people who are causing you stress. If it's a situation where either at home or at work or in your social circles, if there are people who probably are disrespectful, or they behave in a certain way that causes you stress, and they may not even be aware, all you need to do is express yourself. Just tell them how you feel. So that is one of the things you can do. The other one is a willingness to compromise. Sometimes we are too rigid in our dealings with people, and being too rigid sometimes causes you stress. So if it's a situation where you're working with people, you're a team member, there's something you're doing, it's good to be willing to give and take. Don't be too rigid such that you're not able to give in to a little bit of, space to the other people. So be willing to compromise, especially if it's not something that's really that important. It doesn't probably touch on your values. It's just something that can be adjusted in a way that everyone is happy. So being willing to compromise is good. Now, the other point is to be more assertive. Being more assertive means you're not taking a back seat in your life. You're not taking a back seat in dealing with problems that are presenting in your life. So if there's a problem, face it head on, deal with it, anticipate, and also try to prevent such problems in future. It means you're active. It means you're being proactive in dealing with issues to do with your life, and you're also taking charge of your life. You're not letting people decide stuff for you, and you have a voice. There's something you can do. There's something you can say about it. So being assertive is something that is going to help you alter the stressor or the stressful situation. Now, the other one that you can also engage in is to manage your time better. Managing your time is very key, and it's linked to what we were saying about paring down your to-do list. Every time you're not able to manage, or you're not willing, or you're not focused on managing your time, you're bound to get stressed. At some point, you'll get stressed. Because if it is at work, if you're the kind of person who waits until the last minute to do your, to carry out your duties and tasks, you may run out of time. Pressure may start building up, and this is going to create stress. Obviously, you'll get stressed. But if you learn to manage your time properly, this is one of the ways that that will reduce or eliminate some of the stress that is not necessarily. This is one of the ways that you can actually alter stress in your life. You can minimize or you can eliminate it altogether. And so we've talked about avoiding stress, and we've also talked about altering stress. But we also said that there are times you may not entirely avoid stress or even alter the situation. And if that's the case, then you look at yourself and you adapt. You learn to adapt to the stressor or to adapt to the situation. And what does that mean? It means that you can look at a problem in a different way. You can look at a situation, the stressful situation, in a totally different way to try and minimize the impact it's having on you. So what can you do? One, you can reframe the problem. Reframing the problem means you're not looking at you start looking at the problem in a different way. How is this problem? Okay, it's there, and there's really nothing you can do about it, and you can't avoid it. So how can you look at it? You can look at it in a way that it's more positive. So for instance, we were talking about traffic earlier, and we were saying if you do not like finding yourself in traffic, there are some times you will inevitably find traffic, because this is not something that you can entirely control. So for instance, you find yourself in traffic and you don't like traffic, but you're there. You can look at it this way. Okay, maybe as I wait for traffic to ease, I can take that time either to reflect on my life, or to plan the day ahead, or to think of something. So that you don't focus on the traffic itself. You look at it, you take that situation, and you relook into it, or you look at it in a different way. So you reframe the problems, and so that you don't now have to, you're not fuming at the traffic or how long it's taking. You're looking at it, if you like reading, and you have audiobooks, you can actually now take that time to listen, or to listen to a podcast. So you're in it, yes, and there's really nothing much you can do about it, but you can use that time to do something positive. Secondly, you can look at the bigger picture. If you find yourself in a stressful situation, it's a problem, it's not something pleasant. Instead of focusing too much on the negative part of it, you can look at it in a bigger way. You can look at the bigger picture. You can ask, one of the questions you can ask yourself, or you can be asking yourself to get yourself out of a situation like that, or at least to help yourself, is to look at that situation and ask yourself, first of all, how long is it really going to last? That's one. Because nothing lasts forever. Secondly, you need to ask yourself, will this thing matter to me in the next few weeks, or in the next few months, or in the next few years? Will it really make a difference? Will it matter? If it's something that's not going to matter much, then don't focus on it. Don't give it too much attention. So look at the bigger picture. That's one of the ways you adapt to the situation. The other one is to adjust your standards. And this simply means sometimes we get stressed because of being perfectionist or engaging in perfectionism. Like you want everything to be a certain standard. If it's a task, or if it's something that's being done, or if it's whatever it is, you want it in a certain way, and you're not giving or taking. You're stuck with that picture in your mind. So this is definitely going to stress you, because it's very rare for things to just go the way we anticipate or the way we plan. There's always something that is bound to happen that doesn't fit into the plans that we have. So perfectionism is a major stressor in life. And if you know that you have tendencies for perfectionism, try and relax, try and adjust yourself a little bit, and just know that life is not always the way we want it, and things don't always go the way we anticipate or the way we plan. And as you are adjusting your standards, as you are easing your standards, do the same for others. Don't expect too much perfectionism from the people around you, because they are going to disappoint you. So adjusting your standards, don't engage in perfectionist tendencies, because it's going to hurt you at some point. Then focus on the positive. That's the other thing that you can do to adapt to a stressor. Focusing on the positive simply means there are situations that are stressful, and there's really nothing much you can do about it. But instead of now focusing on that particular situation, you can decide to look at, but what actually is, what good do I have? What positive things can I be grateful for in my life? What is it about me that I'm grateful for? So there's always something positive about you. There are always other things that are, apart from whatever is going on that is causing you stress. You will never fail to find things that are positive in your life. You will never. In fact, if you take a page and a paper and you start writing down some of the positive things about your life, you will be surprised. And you will notice that as you engage in that exercise, you notice that whatever was causing you stress, it may still be there. Nothing much has changed, but you will actually start feeling better about yourself and about life. And the magnitude of that stressor will not be as big as it initially was. So focus on the positive. Now, so we've talked about avoiding stress, adapting yourself to the stressful situations, or altering the situation itself if you are able. And we've also talked about. Now we are going to talk about accepting. We said that there are some situations that you can really do nothing about. There's nothing you can do about, and it's important for you to accept that there are some stressful situations, or there are some stresses that you can only accept. Now, one of the major stresses in life that you can really do nothing except accepting it is, for example, when you lose a loved one. When you lose a loved one, death is something so final, and it is one of the biggest stressors in life. But there's really nothing much you can do about it except to accept. So it's important for you to identify, what is it about life that is stressing me. Is there anything I can do about it? No. Then you accept it. So learn to accept the unavoidable. Learn to accept the things that you can only accept, the stressors that you can only accept. Because once you accept that, you're actually on your way to healing. You're on your way to getting better or getting out of it. Because again, like you said earlier, even if it's something as final as losing someone, life doesn't still stop. You will be stressed so much. You will be in such a situation that you can't even believe you'll get out of. But with time, you will find yourself healing and the pain easing, and that hold of the stressor kind of losing, I mean, giving you space uh, to be yourself. So accepting that not everything is completely unavoidable, not everything is controllable. You cannot have control over every situation, so it is important to accept that there are some things that you can't change. So don't try to control the uncontrollable, and there are many things in life that you cannot control, even things as losing your job. It may not be as difficult as losing a loved one, but it's something you can't necessarily control. When it happens, it happens. So uh, sometimes it's good to look at so don't try to control the uncontrollable, because you will definitely lose.